Welcome to another video in the cheap vintage glass series. The lens I'm showing today is the Cosinon 28mm F2.8 Auto MC. It's quite a mouthful. It was also sold as the Porst Super Weitwinkel autoN 28mm F2.8 and also the Porst Super-WW 28mm F2.8 MC G. That was under license by a German company. Before I offer my subjective opinions on the lens, let's just take a quick look at the technical specs, which covers the objective part. Now, if you have any more detailed information about this lens, please feel free to share it in the comments below. There's not a huge amount of information, especially not the history of this lens available. So please, if you do have history, just put it down in the comments below, but I will share what I was able to find in my research. The name, it's the Cosinon 28mm F2.8 Auto MC, or Porst Super Weitwinkel autoN 28mm F2.8, also the Porst Super-WW Auto 28mm F2.8 MC G. The type, it's a manual wide-angle prime lens for the 35mm format or full frame format. Was released in 1970 and it was manufactured and released by Cosinon in Japan. The mount on my copy is M42, but it was also released in a number of other manufacturers' mounts. The focal length, 28mm. Aperture is an auto diaphragm. You've got that auto A&M switch on the side here, there. It has 6 blades. It has a range of F2.8 all the way to F22. And from F2.8 to F16, it's in half-stop increments, the clicks. And from F16 to F22, that last one is a full-stop increment. The optics is 8 elements and 6 groups. So it's got an anti-reflective coating, a multi-layer. So that's a multi-coating, as we would say as well. Closest focusing distance is 40 centimeters. The focus throw is about 180 degrees. The focus operation is manual. The size is 48mm by 61mm and it weighs 140 grams. That filter thread is 58mm. The construction is mainly metal and then a little bit of rubber here on the grip. And the price, you're looking at what I saw between $25 and $35 for this lens currently. Now let me also take time for 2 quick disclaimers. Now, first off, my opinion on the lens is formed around this particular copy. Now, this copy is around 55 years old and is probably not factory mint, optically at least, and it has seen some wear, so my experience of it might be thwarted a little bit by the condition that this one is in. So just bear that in mind. The second disclaimer, and that is when I take pics and footage for this series or for these lens tests, I basically just shoot images just to test the lens's capabilities in different settings. I'm just trying general scenes, so I'm not creating art. Sometimes I shoot a shot that I like really, like a lot when I do these things, but generally these are demonstration images. So when I go out on a photo excursion, and especially when it involves film, that's when I focus on the aesthetics of these images. So I just wanted to put that out there, and with that get out of jail free card redeemed, I think we can take a look at the results. Okay, so my opinion on this lens, my experience is, well, the lens is not very sharp. It seems to be optimal between f5.6 to f11 with the subject closer to the camera, say up to 5 meters away. The lens is sharp in the middle of the frame and falls off in sharpness to the corners. This improves only somewhat as you stop down. The overall quality of the image improves remarkably. I mean, just overall quality. If you just go from f2.8 to f4. So I would almost say if you're looking for better quality and not effects, start shooting at f4, not f2.8. In terms of aberrations, you have some chromatic aberrations visible in the highlight areas, contrast areas, but it is actually better controlled than I would have expected from a cheaper lens like this. It's fairly under control when you stop down. Blooming or spherical aberrations are quite severe wide open, but it dissipates from f4 to f22 where it is completely negligible. The spherical aberrations also contribute to the softness of the lens, especially wide open. So at first glance it can seem like the lens is just not focusing sharp. It's a optic, you know, like the lens is just not getting focused. But in fact, it's the haze of the spherical aberration that causes some of that softness. Coma is somewhat visible in the corners. In terms of linear distortions, and you'll see I did a test on this grid. The camera was put 45 centimeters away, so just past its closest focusing distance. So it's fairly close, just to be able to fill the frame as well. And this lens shows pronounced barrel distortion. So that's those convex bulges, you know, you'll see in the top and the bottom. In fact, if you study the edges, it almost comes across if there might be more complex distortions. Some people call it mustache distortion, so it's a little bit more complex than just a bulge. And these you see on those top and bottom lines as well. Now, as you move away from the subject, these linear distortions are less pronounced, but you do notice them in some of the shots of the buildings if you study the edges closely. In terms of vignetting, it's very visible wide open. But it dissipates from f4 as you stop down. Contrast, now this is a tough one for me. It's always tough to gauge this, as the scenes that I shot was fairly contrasty, the stills. On more flat-lit images, it comes across as a bit low contrast, but I don't know if that's really a big issue because, you know, we've got contrast sliders and whatnot. Now, on the copy that I have, the focus mechanism, this throw is quite loose and it doesn't offer much resistance, you know, so I don't like that too much. It has a 180-degree focus though, so shooting video handheld and changing focus is a bit of a trick. The barrel also moves when focusing handheld, it's a bit loose, so follow focus would be advisable, I think, on most copies, unless you have it serviced and it's all very firm. Shooting wide open to the softer look and the vignette, that is ironically the only reason that I would use this 28mm over a normal autofocus lens or a modern lens, is just to get that soft vignette look. The lens is small and light, and even with this mount adapter, this is the RF adapter, M42 RF, it's still quite a small lens. You know, it's smaller than a modern lens, and it makes it easy to pack as an extra in your bag. The lens is actually quite solidly built. The aperture, the lens is it's fast enough, and half-stop increments works for me. It gives me enough exposure control, and you can always declick the lens if you want to do video with it. Bokeh, bokeh. Nice for bokeh. You'll notice it's got like hard outlines and it seems quite busy. It's not very smooth. Flare, it flares purple flare ball if you point it at a strong light source like the sun, and it gradiates from that light source like the sun rather than break out in multiple weird flare patterns. So it actually controls the flares very nicely. The mount of the M42 that I have is actually quite easy to adapt. I like M42s. I think the benefit of a lens like this is if you do buy it, you're not, you know, betting the farm on it, but as a lens it doesn't have a particular appeal to me. I wouldn't go out and look for it. I'd rather have the Tokina EL 28mm f2.8 or the Canon FD28. This lens will look better when you shoot it on 35mm film, as these large high definition digital sensors are quite unforgiving actually. This would actually be a nice companion to the Canon XR 55mm f2.2, which wide open is also very soft and has a lot of spherical aberration. So the two of them might actually look very good as a pair if that is your look. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers!